Alright, so if you guys haven't seen The Owl House, long story short, gay neurodivergent nerd named Luz almost gets sent to a normie conversion camp by her mom Camila, but then she isekais into a demon world with the Owl MILF and a Cubone. 1.5 seasons later, Luz establishes interdimensional communication with her mom, and their reunion is, it's honestly kinda heavy. Like, it's not bitter or anything, but there's definitely some unresolved issues there. And I noticed after the episode aired that a small portion of the fandom was giving Camila some shit about how she's like a terrible parent and such a horrible mom and that she's like abusing Luz and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, man. Let's pull it back a bit and take a look at this whole thing with a fresh set of eyes, alright? Now, before I get into that though, I should probably tell you guys where I'm coming from with this. I myself have got a pretty chill mom, all things considered. Like, yeah, she comes from a fairly conservative upbringing, what with being Filipino and all, but in all honesty, she's pretty open-minded and has been really supportive of me, especially with this channel. Now, the reason I bring that up, though, is because I know that I may not be the most qualified person to be talking about what constitutes a bad parent, so to speak. Although, I do think I can understand where Camila is coming from a cultural standpoint. Like, yeah, I'm definitely not Hispanic, but I am Filipino, and depending on who you ask, our cultures do tend to have very similar values, so I think I can relate in that regard. Anyway, what I'm saying is that abuse is a word that I do not throw around lightly. Like, I went back and took a look at all of what we've seen of Camila, like, I know, 2.25 episodes. But based on what I saw, I really don't think Camila is abusive, like, at all. Just imperfect, like how most parents tend to be, I mean, just look at what we see in the first episode. Luz is in the principal's office for being a hella weirdo, and Camila is all like, sweetie, I love ya, but if you stay inside your little otaku bubble all the time and don't learn how to deal with the real world, it's going to F up your interpersonal skills. And like, that's pretty reasonable. Like, she's not saying Luz has to give up what she loves doing. Just, take ownership of her creativity to the point where it's not debilitating or harmful. That way, when real life gives you shit, you have the mental fortitude to spring back up. Now, don't get me wrong, it's definitely not the best mentality to have. I find that part of Camila's problem isn't that she doesn't take Luz seriously, but rather, she doesn't take Luz seriously enough. Like, she's one of those moms who thinks that liking cartoons and video games is just a silly, irrelevant hobby instead of a core strength of character that lets Luz do amazing things. And I know this makes it sound like she's putting way too much stock into what other people think, but like, that's not the worst thing ever, right? Like, it's clear to me that her concern for her daughter is coming from a place of love, rather than a sense of narcissism or entitlement. As for Luz, it's obvious that she doesn't always see eye to eye with her mom, but it's clear to me that she does love her mother regardless of that. I mean, like with any good kid, one of her greatest fears is disappointing her parents and bringing shame to the family. And for the record, this is a pretty common thing ingrained in a lot of Hispanic and Asian cultures, I'm just saying. I mean, personally, I've never been too crazy about that. As long as you're not actively harming anyone, I think you should just, do what you want in reason. But, that's just me. What I'm getting at here is that it's a conflicting value system that, yes, Camila is causing friction with the whole camp thing. And while it certainly can indicate that the relationship is dysfunctional and even unhealthy to an extent, it's not necessarily abusive, Anyway, fast forward to the mid-season 2 finale, and if you're wondering what was happening at home while Luz was off frolicking with gay demons, a shapeshifter named V basically took Luz's place and pulled a fake on Camila for the past couple of months. And that's when we discovered that Camila's been having one of those Midas touch reality check kind of things, because V is everything she wished for. A world where Luz went off to normie camp, got prescribed a shit ton of Adderall, and came back an obedient conformist with zero personal interest whatsoever. And I gotta tell you, man, Camila's reaction to this is disturbingly realistic. Like, it's very clear that she misses Luz's creative spark and bouncy personality and all that, but she can't deny that she likes seeing her be more responsible and attentive. Yeah, I see that look on your face, Camila. Don't deny it. Yeah, that's the scary, cold, hard truth about parents, man. No matter how much they may love you unconditionally, they're never going to like every single thing about you. And they probably secretly wish you had a slightly different personality. Anyway, Camila definitely effed up here, but to her credit, she does accommodate fake Luz as best as she can, because even though V is pretty much being her idealized child and all, she still encourages Luz to be an individual, even when it involves things that she doesn't and probably will never understand. But yeah, V gets captured, and then Luz gives an off-screen explanation of the whole show. And obviously Camila thinks she's full of shit, but she still entertains her anyway, because like any decent parent, she always makes sure that Luz is heard, even when she doesn't agree herself. So they find V locked up, Camila's maternal instincts surge through her veins, and she beats up a Reddit shit poster with her chinelas. Then they head back home, and Camila lets V stay with her because even though she's a demonic monstrosity from another dimension, she's still a kid, and the code of Hispanic moms dictate that you do not, under any circumstances, deny food to the neighborhood kids. After that, Camila and Luz's astral projection have one final talk to, clear the air, empty their baggage, and resolve all of their problems in order to forge a more healthy and happy mother-daughter relationship. Oh wait, it's raining in the scene, never mind. And Camila's like, I'm traumatized and heavily dissociating right now, but I'm glad you're okay, Luz. And Luz is like, yeah, this place fucking rocks. I'm so glad I took an Uber here instead of that dumb old camp, But then, Camila is like,
You chose to stay there? Were you trying to live out some witch fantasy? Did you hate living with me that much?
Mama, no!
Yeah, that's rough, man. It's definitely not Camila's best moment, and I do see a lot of folks pointing at this scene saying that she's like playing the victim and it's emotional manipulation and all that. And I'm like, yeah, it kinda is. But it's not that simple, I mean, Camila just basically found out that the daughter she was showering with love and affection for the past month was an imposter, and that her actual daughter was off in a G-rated hell because it might have been preferable to her home life. Okay, I think feeling betrayed is a reasonable response here. I mean, it's easy for us because we're the viewer and we're on the outside looking in, but if you were in Camila's shoes and your whole world was suddenly turned upside down, I think you would probably assume the worst too. And I'm not saying that she couldn't have handled it better or that it's not manipulative at all, but it's not the evil supervillain wahahaha kind of manipulation, It's like one of those defense mechanisms that we just naturally put up front when we're in an emotionally vulnerable state. The way I see it, Camila is just trying to leverage the last thing she cares about in this reality lest she have a complete, absolute mental breakdown. Now, this would have been the perfect time for Luz to, reassure her, tell her mom that she loves her, and clear up all of these misunderstandings, but we still have half a season left, so it's gonna have to wait. But yeah, Camila does some questionable things, alright? There's no doubt about that, but I think that's just part of being a parent, man. Most parents are not going to be the super perfect Mufasas or the evil stepmothers, We're probably going to be somewhere down the middle, yeah? Moms and dads are just regular people who occasionally fuck up because most of the time we're just faking it till you make it, and parenting is a lifelong learning experience. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I don't actually know. But the important thing is that Luz is never suggested to be in any physical, mental, or emotional danger. So I think it's irresponsible to say that the relationship is somehow abusive, you know what I mean? It's not absolutely perfect or healthy, but the love is absolutely there despite all of that. And all this in turn makes Camila a hella complex and refreshing character. I'm so used to classic cartoon moms that are either perfect, capable human beings or absolute monsters, with a little variance in between. Camila is a more nuanced take on a mom who, yeah, she makes poor decisions, and the show never excuses it. But she's still the kind of person you root for because, in the end, she's the type of mom who will let Luz go full wee by playing her CD of anime openings in the car. Camila has shown that she has the self-awareness, potential, and drive to be a better mother. And hey, between the drunk, jobless MILF, the attachment issues MILF, and the formerly anti-vax GILF, I think a quote-unquote redemption arc isn't too much to ask. Hey, look at me. I have no parenting experience whatsoever, and I still did a video about it. Guess that makes me an influencer now, huh? Anyway, The Owl House is a boss-ass show, man, and I honestly can't wait to see how the rest of the series is gonna go down. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. If you like my content and you want to see more of it, just, hit that subscribe button, share my videos, leave a like, a comment, all that good shit. And alternatively, I have a Patreon, so, blah 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 blah, become a patron, blah 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 blah. You can see this video first before anybody else. And until then, thanks for watching, stay tuned.